Winter has a quiet beauty, doesn't it? The hush of falling snow, the stillness in the air, the way the world feels softer, slower. But for our cats, this season of blankets and warm tea can also be a season of hidden struggles. They can't tell us, "I'm cold." They can only show us, in small, quiet ways that are easy to miss unless we know where to look. Have you ever noticed your cat curl tighter than usual, or press against you as if your heartbeat were the only warmth they trusted? Sometimes, those little gestures carry bigger meanings than we realize. In this video we'll step gently into that world together, uncovering the hidden signs your cat may be too cold, and how you can wrap them in comfort, safety, and love. Because to them, you are more than their human. You are home. Cats are masters of mystery. They rarely cry out for help. Instead, they whisper it through their bodies, their habits, their silence. And when the cold creeps in, those whispers grow stronger, if only we pause long enough to notice. Sign 1. The shiver of a small body. Picture this. The house is quiet, winter winds are pressing against the windows, and you notice your cat sitting there, fur puffed up, body trembling ever so slightly. At first, it almost looks like a tiny ripple through their fur, as if they've just woken from a dream. But look closer, it isn't a stretch or a casual twitch. It's a shiver. Shivering is one of the clearest ways your cat's body whispers, "I'm cold." Just like us, their muscles contract and relax rapidly, trying to create warmth from within. It's their body's natural attempt to fight back against the chill, a survival mechanism written into every heartbeat. But here's where it becomes more tender. Unlike us, they can't walk to the closet and grab a sweater. They can't light a fire or turn up the thermostat. Their only defense is you, their human, their safe place. Have you ever held your cat while they trembled like this? It feels almost like holding a tiny bird, fragile and precious, beating with life yet vulnerable against the cold world outside. And in that moment, all you want to do is make them warm again. Yet shivering isn't always just about the cold. Sometimes it's a mask for other troubles. A cat might tremble when they're in pain, when their nerves misfire, or when illness creeps into their body. That's why it's so important not to brush it off as just a chill. If the room is cozy, if the temperature isn't low and still your cat is shivering, it might be their way of saying something deeper is wrong. And in those moments, a gentle trip to the veterinarian becomes an act of love, not fear. So how do you tell the difference? It often comes down to the world around them. If it's winter, if the windows are frosted and the floor feels icy beneath your feet, chances are your cat is simply too cold. But if warmth surrounds them and they still shake, that's when the story may be different. One that needs your careful attention. Here's something beautiful though. A cat that trusts you enough to shiver in your presence, to show that raw vulnerability, is a cat that feels safe. Many animals hide weakness out of instinct. But when your cat allows you to see their trembling, it's as if they're saying, "I know you will care for me." And maybe that's why those moments feel so powerful, because they remind us that our role in their life isn't just food and shelter. It's comfort, protection, warmth. So the next time you notice your cat trembling, pause. Lean in close. Ask yourself, is this a simple plea for warmth or is it something more? Either way, the answer begins with the same act: love. Wrap them in a blanket, hold them near your chest, or create a space where the cold can't reach them. Because to a cat, your arms are more than arms, they're a safe harbor. A place where even winter itself can't follow. Question for you, dear cat parent. Have you ever felt your cat shiver while resting on your lap? What did you do in that moment, and how did it make you feel? Tell us in the comments below. Your story might be the warmth another cat lover needs tonight. Sign 2. The silence of lethargy and the fading appetite. There's a quiet way the cold sneaks into your cat's life. It doesn't always show itself in trembling or obvious shivers. Sometimes, it slips in softly like a shadow and you only notice because your cat, the same one who used to dart down hallways or chase invisible creatures in the night, now spends their days curled up, still and uninterested. Lethargy. It's not a loud symptom. It doesn't demand your attention right away. But it's one of the most telling. When a cat is cold, much of their body's energy is rerouted. Instead of fueling playtime, curiosity, or even hunger, their little bodies focus on one essential task: staying warm. Their metabolism slows, their movements soften, and even their appetite may fade. Imagine this. Your playful companion, once pouncing at toy mice, now sleeps through the afternoon sun. Their bowl of food remains untouched. The sparkle in their eyes seems dimmed, not because of sadness, but because survival itself is asking too much of them. To us, it may look like laziness, but to them, it's conservation. Every ounce of energy is being saved, tucked away like a candle flame struggling to stay lit in a storm. But here's the tricky part. Lethargy and decreased appetite can mean many things. They can whisper of sickness, stress, or even emotional heaviness. That's why, as guardians, we must become gentle detectives, noticing the patterns, the timing, the environment. If it's the middle of winter, if the house feels drafty, and your cat suddenly sleeps more than usual, the cold might be the thief stealing their energy. But if the air is warm, the blankets are plenty, and yet your cat still withdraws, then perhaps something deeper is at play, something that needs a loving hand and maybe a visit to the vet. Let's step into their perspective for a moment. Cats are descendants of desert wanderers, animals who thrived in warmth. Cold isn't their natural friend. It saps them, slows them, makes their world smaller. A warm cat is curious, alive, vibrant. A cold cat becomes reserved, still, as if folding inward to protect the fire inside. Have you noticed your cat eating less when the house grows chilly? That small change in appetite is more than stubbornness. It's their body speaking. It's their body saying, "I'm using my strength to stay warm. I don't have much left for anything else." But there's something beautiful in this too, because when you notice, when you sit beside them with a blanket, or when you gently warm their food to tempt them back into eating, you become the flame they need. Sometimes it isn't about forcing play or urging them to the food bowl. Sometimes it's about creating the right environment. A soft heated bed by the radiator. A blanket-lined corner away from drafts. Warm, aromatic meals that call them back to nourishment. With these small acts, you remind them that the world doesn't have to be endured alone. And let's not forget the emotional side. Cats sense our rhythms too. If you sit with them, share your stillness, and offer warmth through presence, it can lift them in ways we don't always understand. Maybe that's why so many cat parents say their companions become more cuddly in winter, because warmth is not just physical, it's emotional. Have you noticed your cat choosing longer naps, skipping meals, or losing that spark of playfulness during colder days? How did you respond? Did you tuck them under a blanket or maybe move their bed closer to the heater? Share your story in the comments. You never know, the way you comfort your cat might inspire another cat parent to bring warmth back into their own home. Because in the end, lethargy and loss of appetite aren't just signs of cold. They're reminders. Reminders that our cats rely on us not just for food but for the small things. Comfort, care, and the invisible warmth of love. And when we give them that, something magical happens. The sleepy, withdrawn cat begins to stir again. The purr returns. The eyes brighten. And winter no longer feels so heavy. Sign 3, seeking out warmth. Cats have a way of showing us what they need even without words. And when the cold seeps into their world, they begin a quiet quest. A quest for warmth. You might notice it in the little things. The way they suddenly spend more time pressed against the radiator, stretched long across the floor where the sunlight falls, or burrowed deep into laundry piles that still carry your scent. It's not just comfort they're after. It's survival wrapped in softness. Think about this. Cats by nature are heat seekers. Their ancestors roamed deserts, basked in warmth, and thrived under the sun. Cold for them is unfamiliar, almost unfriendly. So when winter arrives, their instincts guide them to search for any pocket of heat they can find. Sometimes that means curling up beside you more often than usual. Maybe they climb onto your lap every time you sit, or follow you to bed just to press their body against yours. And while that extra affection feels like a blessing, it's also a signal, a quiet plea that says, "I'm not warm enough on my own. I need you." Have you ever seen your cat wedge themselves into a strange place? Behind the TV where the cables hum with heat. Under the covers, nose tucked into their paws. Or even inside a box, hidden away because small enclosed spaces hold warmth better than open ones. It might look quirky, even funny, but underneath is a simple truth. They're building a cocoon against the chill. But here's where your watchful heart matters. If this behavior is sudden, if your normally independent cat begins clinging to you constantly or burrowing more than usual, it could be a sign that the house isn't warm enough for them. While it's sweet to have your cat glued to your side, it also means something deeper. Their environment isn't giving them the comfort they need. And that's where we step in. Small gestures make a world of difference. Placing their bed near a sunny window. Offering cozy blankets, the kind that trap their body heat. Creating little safe nests around the home where they can retreat. Even the sound of your voice, the rhythm of your heartbeat, can become part of the warmth they seek. And here's the most touching part. When your cat curls into you for heat, it's more than instinct. Trust. They could choose anywhere, the radiator, the blanket pile, the sunny spot, but instead they choose you. To them, your body is more than a source of warmth. It's the center of their universe. It's safety, love, and the one place where cold can't reach. Where does your cat go when the house feels cold? Do they curl into your lap, hide in a blanket, or chase the last ray of sunlight across the room? Tell us in the comments, your cat's favorite warm spot might just inspire another cat parent to make their home cozier too. Because when we notice these little journeys for warmth, we're not just protecting our cats from winter. We're stepping into their secret world, the one where love and survival meet. And in doing so, we remind them, you'll never have to face the cold alone. Sign 4, curling up into a ball. There's something timeless about the way a cat curls into a perfect circle. Nose tucked to tail, paws hidden, body so small it looks as though they are folding back into themselves. It's one of the most endearing sights we know, but also, sometimes, one of the most telling. Because when your cat tightens into a ball, it isn't always just comfort. It's protection. It's their body's way of conserving every ounce of heat they have left. In the wild, this behavior is survival. Animals curl tight to minimize the surface area exposed to the cold air. It's called thermoregulation, but to us, it looks simply like a cozy nap. Beneath that gentle image is a very real effort to trap warmth, to keep the cold from stealing more than it already has. When you see your cat sleeping this way, especially in the colder months, it might be their quiet signal. I'm trying to hold on to my warmth. Think of the contrast. A cat who feels secure and warm will often sprawl out, belly up, stretched long across the bed. That posture is trust embodied, an openness that says, I am safe, I am warm, I can let go. But a cat curled into the tiniest possible ball is saying something different. It's a whisper of need. Have you noticed your cat curling tighter than usual in winter? The difference is subtle but real. They might press their face deep into their fur, or tuck their paws so firmly beneath them you can't even glimpse a paw pad. It's their way of building a shield against the chill. But here's where it becomes even more profound. Curling into a ball is not only about warmth, it's also about vulnerability. When your cat chooses to rest this way in your home, it's a reminder that they trust you completely. In the wild, animals only curl up when they know they are safe enough to expose their back, their most unguarded side. So when your cat curls tightly on your bed, your couch, or in the corner of your room, they are saying, here with you I can rest. I can be small and I can be safe. Still, as loving guardians, we must pay attention. If your cat seems to be constantly in this position, never stretching out, never relaxing into a sprawl, it may mean the environment is colder than is comfortable for them. And while their body is working to keep warm, it can also become exhausting over time. That's where your gentle help makes all the difference. Offer them blankets that hold their body heat. Place their bed in warmer corners, away from drafts. Some cats even love burrow-style beds. Little caves where they can curl up inside, shielded from the chill. And maybe most importantly, share your warmth. A simple lap, a cuddle beneath a throw, the press of your hand over their side, these are more than gestures. To your cat, they are the difference between enduring winter and embracing it. Have you ever seen your cat curled up so tight it almost looked like a tiny ball of fur, as if trying to make themselves smaller against the cold? What did you do in that moment? Did you tuck a blanket around them or simply sit nearby so they could borrow your warmth? Share that moment in the comments. Those little acts of love, those small ways we respond, are what make the Meowsphere community so special. Because in the end, a curled-up cat is more than a picture of coziness. It is a story of instinct, of survival, and of trust. And when we recognize it for what it is, we are reminded of the quiet truth. In their small, vulnerable world, we are the warmth they are seeking. Sign 5, unusual behaviors. Cats are creatures of rhythm. They live in patterns, in small predictable rituals that bring comfort. The morning stretch, the nightly zoom eyes, the gentle nudge against your hand before dinner. So when those patterns shift, even slightly, it's as if they're trying to tell us something. And one of the ways the cold reveals itself is through these subtle, unusual behaviors. Maybe your normally social cat suddenly withdraws, choosing corners and shadows over your lap. Or perhaps your playful companion, who once chased toys with boundless energy, now sits quietly watching without moving. Can feel puzzling, even worrying. But often these changes aren't random, they're survival. When a cat is cold, their body reroutes energy. Every instinct says, save the warmth, protect the fire. So instead of spending calories on play or cuddles, they turn inward. Their world shrinks to the essentials. Think of it this way. When you're chilled to the bone, do you want to run errands or have long conversations? No. You want a blanket, silence, and stillness. Your cat feels the same. Their behaviors shift not because they love you less, but because the cold has rearranged their priorities. But sometimes, unusual behaviors take another form. Cold can make cats restless. A chilled body is an uncomfortable body, and discomfort often shows up as pacing, meowing more than usual, or even sudden irritability. A cat who's normally calm may become snappy. A usually quiet one may vocalize as if calling for warmth they can't find. It's heartbreaking when we misinterpret this. We might think, they're grumpy, or, they don't want to play. But beneath the surface their small bodies may simply be saying, I'm cold. Please notice me. And here's the tender part. Cats are masters at hiding weakness. In the wild, showing vulnerability could mean danger. So when they change their behavior in front of you, it's not just instinct, it's trust. They are allowing you to see what others never would. So the question becomes, are we listening? How do we respond to these unusual signals? Start by watching patterns gently. Keep a journal in your mind, or even on paper, of when and how behaviors shift. Did they become withdrawn only when the nights grew colder? Did their irritability rise with the temperature drop? This awareness transforms worry into wisdom. You begin to see the difference between random quirks and quiet cries for help. And then, small changes can make a world of difference. Offer warmer resting places. Add cozy layers to their favorite spots. Spend extra time sitting still with them, letting them borrow your warmth. When their behavior shifts, our behavior can answer. Has your cat ever acted different in the colder months? Maybe more withdrawn, more clingy, or even unusually vocal. How did you respond, and what do you think they were really asking from you? Share in the comments. Your story may help another cat parent realize their cat's unusual behavior isn't bad. It's simply a plea for comfort. Because in the end, unusual behaviors are never really unusual. They are messages. Soft signals in a language of trust. And when we notice them, when we respond with love instead of frustration, we remind our cats of the one truth that never changes. In this home, you are safe. You are seen. You are warm. Sign 6. Cold ears, paws, and tail. When you touch your cat, you expect warmth. The gentle heat of their fur beneath your hand, the soft hum of life flowing through them. It's one of the quiet joys of companionship, that subtle warmth that feels like comfort itself. But sometimes you reach out and notice something different. Their ears feel cool. Their paws are colder than usual. Even their tail seems to lack that familiar glow of warmth. It's a detail that's easy to overlook, yet it's one of the clearest signs your cat may be too cold. You see, cats are designed by nature to preserve life at all costs. When temperatures drop, their bodies make a choice: protect the core. The vital organs, heart, lungs, brain, must stay warm. To do this, blood flow is redirected away from extremities like ears, paws, and tails. It's survival written into their biology. But to us, it shows up as chilly little paws, or ears that don't have the usual cozy heat when we scratch behind them. Think of your cat as a small living flame. The flame burns brightest at the center, where life is guarded most fiercely. The edges, the ears, the paws, the tail, are where that flame flickers first, where the cold sneaks in. This is why checking those spots can be like reading a quiet thermometer of their well-being. Warm and soft? Likely comfortable. Cool or cold? A sign they may be struggling against the chill more than you realized. But here's the tender part. When you touch your cat and notice this coolness, it's more than just a physical observation. It's a moment of connection. Because in that simple act, feeling their ears, brushing their paws, stroking their tail, you're not just checking temperature. You're listening to their body. You're asking, are you okay? Do you need me? And often the answer is yes. So what do you do when you notice this sign? Begin with warmth, not just in blankets but in presence. Provide soft bedding in draft-free areas. Some cats love heated pads made just for pets, which mimic the comfort of body heat without risk. Even a box lined with fleece can become a haven. And then offer your own warmth. Your lap, your arms, the press of your palm against their chilled ears. To them, you are not just a source of heat, you are safety itself. Sometimes, it's in the smallest gestures that the biggest comforts are found. Wrapping a blanket around your cat while you sit together. Gently warming their paws between your hands. Stroking their tail until it softens, until the cold retreats. Each of these moments whispers, you are not alone in this winter. I am here. Have you ever touched your cat's ears or paws and noticed they were colder than you expected? Did you brush it off, or did you instinctively offer them warmth? Share your story in the comments. It may help someone else realize that the small details, the coolness of an ear, the chill in a paw, can carry a meaning deeper than they knew. Because at the end of the day, warmth isn't just about temperature. It's about love. It's about being the steady flame in a world that sometimes grows cold. And when your cat's ears, paws, or tail whisper of chill, your touch becomes more than comfort. It becomes the fire that tells them, you are safe. You are cherished. You are warm again. Sign 7. Seeking heat sources. Cats are natural seekers of comfort. They will always find the softest pillow, the sunniest patch of floor, the coziest blanket in the house. It's part of their quiet genius, the ability to locate warmth and turn it into sanctuary. But when your cat begins to constantly chase heat, clinging to it with unusual persistence, it may be more than just preference. It may be a sign they are too cold. Perhaps you notice them curling near radiators, pressing against heaters, or squeezing under blankets in ways they never used to. Or maybe you catch them hovering near the oven, lingering in the laundry where the dryer hums, or lying across your laptop's keyboard, soaking in the tiny warmth of the machine. At first it might feel cute, even amusing. But in truth, it is their small body whispering, "I need more. The chill has found me and I am searching for fire." This instinct to seek heat is rooted in survival. In the wild, cats would follow the sun, seek caves with warmth, or curl tightly together with others to conserve body heat. Domestic cats carry the same wisdom. When their fur alone cannot shield them, they search for warmth wherever it can be found. And here lies the delicate truth. When your cat begins to do this often, it is not merely habit, it is necessity. Their body is telling them, stay warm or grow weaker. But as guardians we must also be cautious. Some heat sources can be dangerous. Radiators, space heaters, even stovetops can burn tender paws and whiskers. Cats do not always understand the difference between safe warmth and risky heat. That's where our role becomes so important. We must create safe havens of warmth that satisfy their need without placing them in harm's way. A fleece-lined basket by your bed. A heated pet pad designed with care. A simple cardboard box lined with blankets that smell like you. To your cat, these small sanctuaries are more than objects. They are love shaped into warmth. And sometimes the greatest heat source of all is you. The steady beat of your heart. The warmth of your lap. The way your body becomes a shield against the cold. Notice how often cats choose you over everything else. The heater, the blanket, even the sunbeam. Because no matter how strong their instincts for warmth, their bond with you is stronger. You are not just their home. You are their fire. Has your cat ever crawled under your blanket on a cold night, or refused to leave your lap when winter winds were sharp? How did it feel knowing that to them, you were the safest warmth they could find? Share your story in the comments. It may remind another cat parent that the simplest act, letting your cat curl against you, can be the most powerful gift of comfort. Gentle conclusion. So now we've walked together through the hidden language of cold, the trembling of shivers, the huddled curl of a tiny body, the retreat to hidden corners, the cling to your warmth, the unusual behaviors, the cold ears, paws, and tail, and the endless search for heat. Each of these signs is more than survival. Each is a quiet prayer, a message from a heart that trusts you to understand. Our cats cannot speak in words, but through their bodies, through their small choices, they whisper what they need most: warmth, safety, love. And when we listen, truly listen, we become more than caretakers. We become their shelter, their sanctuary, their forever home, no matter how cold the world outside may be. Call to action. If this video opened your heart, take a moment to warm the lives of more cats by sharing it. And if you want to keep walking this gentle path with us, learning the hidden ways cats speak in love, subscribe to Meow Sphere. Because every cat deserves a voice, and every voice deserves to be heard with love. Until next time, keep your cat close, keep them warm, and remember, you are their world, their comfort, their fire.